Hey, thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and be sure to stick around. At the end, I'm going to share with you a real secret on how to fix your slice. Hey golfers, PGA teaching professional Todd Kolb here with US Golf TV. And what I'm going to talk about here today, and I'm going to share with you in this education series that we've been having, and hopefully, if you haven't, hopefully you've seen our previous one on understanding strokes gained putting or looking at the stats on the golf course, and also our great one on understanding your shot pattern. But today, what we're talking about today is something that I don't want to say it's controversial, but I'm just going to say this. There is a strong debate right now going on in the golf instructing world about what is actually taking place at impact, at the moment of truth. When you come in contact with the ball, what is actually happening? And what is causing the ball to fly the direction that it does? And what I'm just going to call this today. And when I go through this, I want to say this. I want to give a little bit of a disclaimer here. The information that I'm going to share with you is general. Because I'm probably going to get some golf instructors who are going to watch this and going to say, well, wait a minute, that's not exactly right. And they probably might be true. But the idea here is just to open up your eyes to some new things that are taking place in golf instruction. But back to the point here. We're talking about ball flight, why the ball does what it does, why it curves what it does. And as I mentioned earlier, there's this debate going on. And I'm just going to call it old versus new. Now, when I went to the PGA school, I was a PGM grad, and when I graduated in the early 90s, I've been teaching for well over 20 years, I was taught this. Let me go through this real quickly here. That in golf, there's basically two things that we look at. The club face, okay, I'm talking about an impact, club face, and what I'm going to call the path. Now, everybody here knows what the club face is, all right? It's obviously the end of the club face, and the club face can be pointing a couple different directions. I mean, it can have different losses, but it can be pointed at the target, to the right of the target, or to the left of the target at impact. All right, those are the options. The path can be a little bit more confusing for people, and for today's discussion, without diving into this big dissertation about the golf swing, because that's not why we're here to help the average golfer out, is just understand that the path is the direction that the club is swinging at impact. That's how we're going to define that today. The direction that the club is traveling at impact. Now, as I said earlier, I graduated with a PGM degree from New Mexico State in the early 90s. And here's what we were taught. We were taught that the direction that the ball starts, all right, the starting direction that the ball starts is based on the path. So if I hit a golf shot and the ball starts to the right of my target, that means that I was swinging the club to the right of my target. And if I hit a golf shot and the ball started to the left of my target, that meant that I was swinging the club to the left. And we were also taught that for all practical purposes, that the club face calls the curve, all right, the curve of the golf ball. So here's what we would tell people, and I taught this, I got to be honest, because this is what I was taught when I went to school, that if I wanted to draw the ball, curve the ball, okay, that I should aim my body and swing the club in the direction that I want the ball to start, and then aim my club face where I want the ball to finish, and make a swing, and the ball would start to the right and it would curve. That's what we were taught. Well, here's what I can tell you. With advancements in technology and understanding now what's actually taking place at impact, in my opinion, I'm one golf instructor, this is my opinion, this is wrong. It is simply wrong. That is not what is happening. All right, so we've got things like, I use a flight scope, there's TrackMan, there's a variety of other radar things that tell us really in detail of what is actually taking place as we strike the golf ball. And here's basically what we know now, in my opinion. This is what I believe is taking place. And I'm just going to call this the new, and this is what I teach. So here's what we know now, that the club face is an indication of where the ball starts. And you remember from our earlier conversation here, the club face can be pointed at the target, to the right of the target, or to the left of the target. All right? And so the club face, that tells me what the club face is. If the ball starts to the right of my target, if I'm aiming directly at the flag, and the club face is pointed to the right of that, the ball will start to the right. The ball starts based on the face. Now that's not 100%, but that is the majority of it. Like I said earlier, we're not getting into a debate about all the exact numbers. This is general, but the ball starts based on the face. All right? The other part that we have here is what we call the path. All right? And the path tells me the curve. All right? The path tells me the curve. The ball curves away from the path. Now let's think about that for a second, because we're kind of getting a little bit deep in here and I want to kind of backtrack. Remember what I was taught? The ball starts based on the path, the direction I swing the club, and the ball curves based on the face. Here's what I know now, because I have access to a flight scope. I use it every day when I teach. That's just not true. The ball starts based on the club face and the ball curves away from the path. All right? Why is that important? It's important for you as an amateur player. It's not to be able to take that information and exactly figure out what's going on in your golf swing. The important thing here is to understand what many golf instructors were taught years ago, myself being one of them, has been completely flipped. It has been completely flipped on its head. And we now know this information right here. All right? Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. And when the ball curves, you have two types of things. It's either club face or it's path. And it's the relationship between those two. It's the relationship between those two. So I'm going to derail here just a little bit and kind of dive into this because I think this is important. Here's what you need to know. That the curve of the golf ball is the relationship between the two. All right? So if I swing the club, all right, to the right of the target, let's say for example 4 degrees, all right, and I have my club, here's my target line, and I swing the club face, the club face is pointed 2 degrees to the right of the club, of the target. That ball is going to start to the right, here's my target, it's going to start to the right because the ball starts based on the face, and then it's going to curve away from the path, so it's going to start to the right, and it's going to draw into the flag. That means that I can actually hit a draw with a club face that is open, meaning it's pointed to the right. Like I said, that's diving a little bit into kind of the science behind it. But once again, what I want you to know is that you have some old and you have some new. All right, so let's kind of pull back again a little bit. And let's talk about you as the golfer. All right, as the golfer. What does this mean for you? Well, the first thing that it means for you is this, all right, is knowledge. All right, knowledge. You need to find somebody who has this knowledge, in my opinion, if you want to play good golf, because it's available, and it's pretty readily available at this point. All right, a couple other things that I want you to be able to know that can help yourself out. If I have a student, all right, and they're struggling, and they call me, all right, they say, Todd, I'm struggling, I'm at this tournament, man, I'm really struggling, I'm not hitting the ball very well. The first question I always ask themselves is, where did or is the ball start? It's the first question I ask them. We talk about that when they're here for the lessons. Where did the ball start? And if they say, oh, the ball's starting to the right of my target, I know their club face is open. I got half of the equation down already. And then I say to them, well, what is it doing after it starts? What direction is it going? And they say, well, it's slicing or it's hooking or whatever it is, all right? I can now start to figure this out. So as a golfer, here's what I want you to do. Because if you know where the ball is starting, you know your club face. You know half of the equation. What I want you to do, and this is what I do with my students, is when you're in the driving range, let's say you're hitting right here. It's a little bit hard to do on the screen here, but let's say you're hitting shots right here. Let me make my box a little better here. All right, I'm going this direction. And here's my target. Right here's my target. And my ball's right here. Take like a tour stick, or you kind of got like those yardsticks. You put them in. Most people have one in their bag. And here's my golf ball. Put that stick about 10, 15 feet in front of you. Put it on a direct line. So here's my golf ball. The stick is on a direct line between me and my target. Hit a shot. Have a friend stand back here behind you. And just simply ask them, did that ball start to the right of the stick? Did it go directly over the stick? Or did it start to the left of it? And you'll immediately know where your ball is starting relative to your target line. And you have half of your equation figured out. All right? So here's what I wanted. Let's just back up. Let's recap what we've learned here. Because this is pretty in-depth, but it's information I'm telling you that can change your golf game overnight. So here's what we've learned. A lot of the stuff that I was taught as a PGA golf professional, somebody who has taught the game for over 20 years, has been disproven. It's just simply not right. That's the honest truth. It's just not right. The beauty of it is with today's technology and what's taking place, I now have correct information. I have what I'm calling new information. And I can help my students much quicker than I could before. You as a golfer, now you have some knowledge. Even if you don't understand, like, well, I was lost. I don't know what he was talking about there. You have some knowledge that, hey, I'm going to find a golf instructor who understands the new ball flight laws or understands what's actually taking place. Maybe has access to some of the new technology. And you have a couple questions or a couple things that you can ask yourself. All right, so that you can hopefully improve your game. So the goal here with all of these video series is to educate you. Today's topic, it's pretty in-depth. I understand that. But it's information that you need to know. I hope you find it helpful. I know it will change your golf game. I look forward to the next time we meet, and the next time we get a chance to visit about different ways that can help your golf game. Hey, thanks for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you find that information helps your game, because that's really what we want to do here. As a golf coach, I want to help you play better golf. Now, as I promised you though, I was going to give you one tip on how to fix the slice. Here it is. It's called lead arm high, trail arm low. All you're going to do is simply take your lead arm and raise it slightly, lower your trail arm a little bit. This little change to your setup is going to help you swing the club a little bit more up and to the right, especially with the driver. Those two things are going to definitely increase your distance and help you get rid of that nasty slice. Now, if you want more great information on any part of your game, slicing, hitting the ball further, more distance, bunker play, you name it, we've got it for you at usgolftv.com. So, I don't like where I'm going with that. Oh, sorry. This is the conclusion. Can't remember what the two things were.